Will J.J. McCarthy be the next quarterback of the New England Patriots? Some interesting developments coming today from Adam Schefter. We'll explore it here on Patscast.
McCarthy, a quarterback that's gonna ignite. J.J. McCarthy.
Welcome to Patscast. I'm Brad Whitaker. Adam Schefter today came out with a story based on a podcast interview he conducted with Michigan's J.J. McCarthy, and the McCarthy smoke has quieted a little bit over the last couple of weeks or so. Seems like he might have been the favorite for the New England Patriots to draft at number 3. Now the consensus seems to be Drake May again, assuming Jaden Daniels goes number 2 overall to the Washington Commanders. But an interesting story here coming from Adam Schefter, who interviewed J.J. McCarthy and talked about the possibility of JJ playing in New England. And JJ went out and said, I'm always about playing for the guys that came before and the guys who built the foundation to where it is right now. Obviously, being part of the New England Patriots, that means everything. Now, these are just words, right? You know, he's going to say that about any team. Anyone who's going to talk about the Patriots is going to say, oh, what a history, what a legacy that Tom Brady left, Bill Belichick. It would be great to be a part of that. Jaden Daniels said something about that at the Combine. Drake May has said similar things. But here's where it gets interesting. When J.J. McCarthy visited the New England Patriots for his top 30 visit, he actually met with Patriots owner Robert Kraft. And McCarthy described Kraft as the coolest, smoothest guy I've met in a long time, adding that he knows the franchise is in good hands with the Krafts in charge of the organization. He went on to say, obviously, Coach Mayo's been a part of that success over the years, and what he's building is a feeling that I got when I first stepped onto Michigan, a sense of urgency to rebuild the culture, rebuild this team to where they want to get to and where they were. Now, we all know the similarities, right, with J.J. McCarthy, Tom Brady, both coming from Michigan, both wearing the eye paint, both guys who had to kind of work their way up the QB depth chart throughout college, were kind of undersold, undervalued, and eventually thrived. Brady didn't win a national championship at Michigan, but we know J.J. McCarthy, tremendous success over the last couple of seasons, didn't lose a game this past season. But we all know the red flags, right? McCarthy, quarterback who didn't throw the ball a lot, wasn't asked to do a lot, really handed the ball off in that pro-style offense under Jim Harbaugh. But, you know, Jim Harbaugh has some nice things to say about him. McCarthy, when he did throw the ball, big game situations, 3rd and long, almost always converted, certainly performed very well against a very tough Alabama team in the Rose Bowl college football playoff semifinal. And obviously they ran away with it in the national championship game against the University of Washington. So there is a lot to like about J.J. McCarthy, but news broke yesterday saying that son of Patriots owner Robert Kraft and president of the New England Patriots, Jonathan Kraft, is heavily involved with the decision-making process on who the Patriots will select, particularly at the quarterback position. That came out from the Athletic's Diana Rossini, who reiterated today, doubling down, saying that Jonathan Kraft is playing a hands-on role in that decision-making. And then when you hear about J.J. McCarthy meeting with Robert Kraft, talking about his relationship with Tom Brady, which he has, went on to talk about it a little bit more here in the article, it's really saying a lot about where the Patriots might move in that direction. Now, I'm not saying that J.J. McCarthy is the only player who met with Robert Kraft. Presumably, Kraft met with all these quarterbacks, right? But this is the first story that we're hearing about specifically J.J. McCarthy and his discussion with Robert Kraft. And McCarthy said that he and Brady communicated regularly throughout his college career, developing a great relationship. Coming off a national championship, McCarthy wants his leadership style to reflect that of the Patriots legend, one who balances winning with a team-first mentality. This specific article is not coming from Adam Schefter. It's coming from Faith Pinow of Boston.com. But that is a good selling point, right? If J.J. McCarthy does want to be selected by the New England Patriots. You have Robert Kraft, who really wants to return the Patriots to the glory days. We all know how he feels about Tom Brady. We all know how he kind of feels about Bill Belichick now, basically stabbing him in the back as he's done the Apple TV Plus documentary, which Robert Kraft played a major role in, which did not make Bill Belichick look very good. And if Robert Kraft had to make that decision again between Brady and Belichick, he ultimately picked Belichick. But I would guess right now, if he went back in time after the 2019 season, he would be willing to move on from Bill Belichick and stick around with Tom Brady to kind of continue those glory days, because the Patriots have only gotten worse since then. Yeah, there was some hope there with Mac Jones his rookie year, played very well, second in Rookie of the Year voting, but didn't work out with the Matt Patricia decision-making, putting him at the offensive coordinator role, at least the de facto OC. And then this past season, when we thought it would be more functional with Bill O'Brien, only got worse. The team only won 4 games, and now they're selecting at 3rd overall because of it, and Bill Belichick is gone. So when Robert Kraft has these conversations with a guy like J.J. McCarthy, a guy with a Michigan background, guy with a relationship with Tom Brady, a guy who has this very similar upbringing, very similar college career to that of Tom Brady, having to beat out quarterbacks who were ahead of him, and ultimately succeeding in tough situations, and being really the quarterback who is not known for the strongest arm, although it's pretty good, not known for the best speed, although it's decent, not known for being the most elusive in the pocket, although it's still pretty good. He's a guy who has the reputation of having that chutzpah, if you will, that moxie, that winning attitude, that ability to convert on 3rd and long, to win in big game situations in ways that Caleb Williams didn't show at USC. Jayden Daniels lost to, a lot of them were tight games, but he lost to Alabama. He lost those big games. And certainly Drake May, who didn't really have a great year this past season at North Carolina. Yeah, he won some close games, but didn't exactly have that clutch factor in the same way that J.J. McCarthy did. Really, the only other quarterback who you could argue was almost as clutch as McCarthy is Michael Penix, winning those close games against Oregon twice this past season. But we saw them go head-to-head, and Michigan's defense was able to exploit Michael Penix and his inability to throw the intermediate and short throws, made him throw it all day, and J.J. McCarthy came out on top looking like the better quarterback. And the more that people watch tape, the more that they watch J.J. McCarthy's mechanics, his footwork, which is very good, the more that he's moved up the draft boards. And now we are entertaining the possibility of the Patriots drafting him at 3rd overall. And this development coming from Adam Schefter only, bolsters that a little bit. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I will say this. Look, I would be very excited if J.J. McCarthy was our next quarterback. I'm one of the few who says that he's a guy that I might actually prefer to Drake May. I've been very high on him. If you've been listening to this podcast or watching it, you know I like J.J. McCarthy. But the truth is, you take the temperature on Patriots fans, they don't want J.J. McCarthy. They want Drake May, or they want Jayden Daniels, or they want to trade back and get some picks. And between those 4 options, McCarthy trading back, Jayden Daniels, and Drake May, McCarthy doesn't even come close. We've seen Tommy Curran's polls. He did one today. Nobody really seemed to want J.J. McCarthy. I think it was in single digits the last time I checked. And if you're in this scenario where you're hearing Robert Kraft had a nice warm meeting with J.J. McCarthy, Jonathan Kraft is being hands-on, heavily involved in the Patriots draft decision-makings, they stick at number 3. Drake May is available, and they select, or Jayden Daniels, and they select J.J. McCarthy instead. Patriots fans are going to be livid. I'm not going to be livid. I like J.J., but Patriots fans are going to be very upset with that, and they're going to think Jonathan Kraft was the reason why J.J. McCarthy was selected over these quarterbacks who most think are ahead of him. At least on most mock draft boards, most people believe they see the upside of Drake May, which has the highest ceiling of any of the quarterbacks in this draft. They see what Jayden Daniels has done. They also see the ability to trade back and still get a guy like Michael Penix and be able to address the tackle position and the wide receiver position by the time you get to the 34th overall pick. Then the Patriots are running, right? They got 3 starters at all the big positions of need, some of the most important positions, if not the most important positions in 2024 in the NFL field, quarterback, left tackle, having a number 1 wide receiver. They can get all of those things if they're willing to trade back. So I earlier this past weekend, I did entertain some trade back possibilities of what the New England Patriots could do to get a guy like J.J. McCarthy and get some additional draft capital. Now, there's a risk to this, but this is the only, I think, happy medium where I think Patriots fans might be okay with getting McCarthy and still, getting some of the draft capital, some of those additional players by trading back just a little bit. Now, the first scenario I floated out was a trade with the New York Giants. Now, you're not going to get a lot in return. The Giants are drafting at 6th overall. Their next draft pick is in the middle of the 2nd round. And from everything we've heard, the New York Giants really do like Drake May. And they would love the opportunity to select him at number 3rd overall if they could get it. So that is a possibility there, right? The Patriots trade back 3 picks and take McCarthy at 6th overall because that's the quarterback they want. Drake May goes to the Giants at 3rd overall. And then the Patriots can address the positions of need in the 2nd round with some of these high-end tackles and wide receivers that are first-round talents, but because this is such a deep draft at both of those positions, those guys might be available at those spots. But, again, you're taking a risk there because what if the Arizona Cardinals want to trade back at 4th overall and another team wants to take McCarthy there? Or what if, I don't think the Cardinals, I think they're going to stand pat. They seem to really want Marvin Harrison Jr., so I'm not as worried about that. But I am worried about the LA Chargers, right? At number 5, Jim Harbaugh seems like a guy who would like to build draft capital and wouldn't mind trading back with a team like the Vikings. So what if a team leapfrogs the Patriots, who are now at number 6 in this scenario, and then they take, let's say the Vikings, they take J.J. McCarthy at 5th overall, and now the Patriots are at number 6 going, I don't know, I guess we're taking Joe Alt or Roma Dunze, these are good players, but we envision getting J.J. McCarthy here, but now we just had a team trade up, leapfrog us at the 5th pick, and now McCarthy's off the board. So it would be a huge risk. That's why I like this scenario that I floated out a little bit better, and this is a little bit more complex, but you get 3 teams involved. Patriots, LA Chargers, and the Minnesota Vikings. And what happens there is Patriots are trading back only a couple of picks to 5th overall. You're probably going to be able to get McCarthy at number 5 because, again, I think Arizona's taking Marvin Harrison at number 4. I'm like 99% confident about that at this point. Maybe they trade back, and that would screw the Patriots pretty badly, but Patriots get number 5. Chargers trade back 6 spots. They get number 11. And then the Patriots also get 23rd overall. But the Chargers would need a little more compensation. They're not just going to trade back 6 picks for no reason. They would need probably a future first rounder from Minnesota, maybe even a later round pick to make it really valuable on their part because they are moving back 6 spots. Jumping from 5 to 11 is a significant jump. So let's just say that's what it is, right? Chargers get the 11th overall pick. They get the 2025 first round pick from Minnesota. Minnesota gets the 3rd overall pick. They take Drake May, who I guess they really like. And the Patriots get number 5 to select J.J. McCarthy. And then they have number 23, which they can use to address left tackle or wide receiver. And then they still have a pick at 34th overall early in the 2nd round where they can address the remaining position, whether that is left tackle or wide receiver. I think that's the best case scenario, right? Especially if the Patriots are really thinking about drafting J.J. McCarthy. If they have McCarthy ahead of May on their draft board, Jaden Daniels goes number 2, then you got to entertain that. And I'm not sure those teams have had conversations. We may not find out until the Patriots are on the clock. But that's a good scenario, right? Because then the Patriots only trading back a couple of spots, getting another pick in return at 23, where they can get A.D. Mitchell or one of these really solid left tackles, and then you get either a tackle at 34th overall or a Xavier Legette or a guy like that early in the 2nd round at 34. I think that's the way to do it. But again, you're taking a risk, right? Because then Arizona could trade back with another team and they take J.J. McCarthy. Maybe Vegas trades up. Who knows? But it's tough. We'll see what ends up happening. A lot's going to happen here, but I do think the J.J. McCarthy smoke is real. Not saying it's likely at this point, but if Robert Kraft is interviewing this guy and thinking, he's got a lot of Brady in him, I want to bring back the Brady days, well, then Jonathan Kraft he's gonna have some pull there. And maybe, if you have Elliott Wolf or you have Gerard Mayo and one of these guys really likes McCarthy, you only need a couple more voices in the room and that decision is made. So, going to be interesting. We'll be here at Patscast to cover it over the next couple days. Lots of draft coverage the days of the draft. You're not going to want to miss it. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, or subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We're on there now, and we'll be back with more Patriots coverage throughout the rest of the week.
In the city where dreams collide, there's a fire burning fierce and wide. Pat's Cast. We speak of J.J. McCarthy, a quarterback that's gonna ignite. J.J. McCarthy. He's a force to be seen, a proven winner with a heart that's keen. Patriots select him, the future's bright. On Pat's Cast, with champion is fight. Pat's Cast, we bleed for the blue and red. Talking Patriots football. Stone cold bread as the echoes of victory resound. We'll stand tall. I love